What it do? What's good with y'all boys YouTube? It's your boy Stacks Reacts, and I'm back with another banger video. In today's video, to my BTS army supporters, man, I want to say thank y'all so much for allowing me to react to such a beautiful video about an amazing group of people that have basically helped everybody out individually and has helped, you know, change the world in very many ways. So first of all, I'm thankful that they came across. So everybody gave me different suggestions, different things to react to, such as individual projects, projects that they've done together and other things. So I have written all of that down on a list, so we will get to that. Whatever y'all want to see next, though, that I see the most in the comment section, that is what I will bring. So the next video that I have discovered from BTS is The Most Beautiful Life Goes On, a story of BTS. You guys have told me to react to this, so that's what I'm going to do. Also, shout out to whoever gave me the idea to make the screen bigger so you guys can read on, and I just make my face smaller so y'all won't have to look at me. Because I don't look as good as the BTS boys. So let's go, man. Let's go,
Today,
man.
Everyone knows the name of BTS. They've been invited.
Okay, so basically we have a Korean explaining or giving backstory about BTS. I think.
Today, everyone knows the name of BTS.
Yes.
They've been invited onto late night talk shows, they've shattered records, they've sold out stadiums, they've made it onto the big screen. These days, you'd be hard pressed to find someone who didn't know who these guys were, or at least haven't heard one of their songs. And if
listen, I'm just grateful to have like come across such an amazing group of people. I've never seen anyone have such a great influence that they had on like society and everything around the world. So thank y'all for that, man. I'm grateful.
they don't,
We
be
got a
hard pressed to
buffering
find
issue.
someone who didn't know who these guys were, or at least haven't heard one of their songs. And if they don't,
Why are we buffering?
but it wasn't always like this. Years old. The success of the Bang 10 Boys is worldwide, but it wasn't always like this.
And it
There
all
we go.
started with one man, YG. YG wanted to make himself a rap group. In the late 90s, he experimented with this idea with different trainees, eventually choosing 7 members. And while 3 of them eventually left, the remaining 4, Teddy, Danny, Jinhwan, and Baekhyun, debuted in 1998 as one.
Wow, so this
Their
dates
first
back
album,
all the
titled
way to
One for Your Mind, was one of the
1998.
year's best-selling albums and won several awards, including the Global Disc and SBS Music Awards for Best New Artist and KMTV's Award for Best Hip Hop Artist. The group enjoyed moderate success and released 4 more albums before going on indefinite hiatus in 2006 due to their mandatory military service.
The year was 2010. And
So also y'all told me in the comment section that in South Korea, like when you're enlisted, you have to go to war or whatever. So y'all told me that like most of the BTS members are gone right now, but they're still like producing and making music and still talking to their fans, which I find very like heartwarming and everything, because like even though they're like probably in a rough time right now, they're still able to do whatever it takes to connect with ARMY, and I love that about them. They put ARMY before themselves, and I love that.
For Best Hip Hop Artist. The group enjoyed moderate success and released 4 more albums before going on indefinite hiatus in 2006 due to their mandatory military service.
Yep, I just
the year
said
was
that.
2010, and the 5-year-old company Big Hit Entertainment had previously signed 2 artists, 88 and 2AM. They had their share of successes, but they were very traditional K-pop groups. Big Hit wanted a fresh new sound, and upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Bang Si-hyuk had decided that that was the sound that he was looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, and more importantly, look up to. He
Yep.
decided he would create
BTS is all of that. Something that the youth can look up to and relate to. And even not just the youth, man. Just such an amazing impact that I respect so much.
Upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Bang Si-hyuk had decided that that was the sound that he was looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, and more importantly, look up to. He had decided he would create a hip-hop group.
Let's go. There he is. Come on, man. Those guys. Let's go.
At 15 years old, Kim Namjoon auditioned for a certain Big Deal Records, which he completely botched, forgetting the lyrics to the song he was performing. Afterwards, fellow rapper Sleepy recommended that he try auditioning at another label, Big Hit.
Big Hit, baby.
A good word for him to one of the producers there. At age 16, Kim auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself. And
all it took was one of them making Big Hit, and it was just like this positive effect to everybody. And now look at them. If the first person wouldn't have made it, I don't even know what the chances would have been if they still would have went to Big Hit. They probably would have been somewhere else. So it's just so fortunate that they were all able to make it to the same record label, Big Hit.
And even put in a good
I
word
like
for him
that a
to one
lot.
of the producers there. At age 16, Kim auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself and instantly impressed him. He was offered a deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Kim accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the
RM,
leader
that's my
of
guy
the
right
newly
there,
created
man.
group. Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
Yep. There he is. Let's get it.
Min Young-gi was a 17-year-old living in Daegu.
Oh, he
an
was
avid basketball
hooping?
player and
Okay.
rapper. He had been interested in music, especially rap, from a very early age. And despite his
He was a
parents'
hooper.
disapproval,
Look at his
started
form.
performing as a rapper while still in high school. He quickly gained attention as a rapper and producer in the underground hip-hop scene. One day he saw a flyer for a rap competition called Hit It and decided to participate. And although he only placed second, the company hosting the competition, you guessed it, Big Hit, decided to sign him on as a producer. Hitman Bang spoke with him afterwards, convincing him to join a newly created hip-hop group. He told him to just focus on rapping and assured him that he wouldn't need to dance. He was lying. And just like that, the new group had a second member, known as
He
Suga,
lied to him to
the
give him
combination of the first two syllables
That's my
of
guy right there,
shooting
Suga.
guard, his favorite position in basketball.
SG.
But they wouldn't stop
Okay, I do
there.
remember that now.
Rappers-
Okay, he did play basketball. That's where his name originated from. Suga, SG. And by the way, I'm sure as I react to them more, I'll be able to depict their faces more. But for right now, it's kind of hard for me. But we giving it our best shot. I promise you that.
Had a second member, known as Suga.
Shooting
the combination
guard.
of the first two syllables of shooting guard, his favorite position in basketball. But they wouldn't stop there. Rappers were nice, but Big Hit actually needed a dancer.
Let's go.
Jung Ho-seok always loved dancing. He was in the starting lineup of the dance crew Neuron in his hometown, Gwangju.
Oh my
he was good at
goodness,
it
his
too,
moves are
winning several local
crazy.
championships and even winning a championship at the national level in 2008. When he decided to audition for JYP Entertainment though, after a few rounds of auditions, he was cut. Fortunately, he didn't give up and went to his second option, a smaller, lesser-known company, Big Hit Entertainment. His dance skills and strong understanding of rhythm made him an instant favorite.
Yes,
and he was signed on.
this is the one that was dancing on beat and everything. With every beat drop, every switch, he was just on point. I love that. That takes a lot of talent. That's natural born, God-given talent right there. You can teach it, but the way he's moving is
Not
different,
only
man.
that, but they saw
J-Hope.
potential in him to become a rapper,
J-Hope
which
is
at this point he had little experience with. However, J-Hope quickly felt that he wasn't a good fit and decided to leave Big Hit until RM convinced both J-Hope and BigIt that the group wouldn't be complete without him. He was right.
아니 근데 형 항상 좋으서 와야 된다고 좋으서 안 오면 진짜 안 된다고.
He said they can't make it without J-Hope. Now I respect that so much because he could have loved anybody who didn't care about their brother or anybody else that's a part of their group. They would have just let him go and do whatever they want to do. So for them to say that they couldn't move forward without him, that's a lot that somebody has to take in at one time. He's like, do I really want to do this? These people care about me. This is what I want around me. You got to have those kind of people around you. And that's what I love about BTS. They all have each other's back no matter what. Even from the beginning, before they even really knew each other.
좋으서 와야 된다고 좋으서 안 오면
Just genuine people. I love it, man.
믿고 간 거야 나 그냥. 올해 했고 우리 멤버 보고 왔어. 멤버 보고 왔어 진짜.
근데 나는 진짜 네가 그 예약
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line.
Let's go. Bring my guy on, man. Let's go. This is
But
okay.
Kim Seok-jin didn't have any sort of experience like that. Believe it or not, one day when he was walking on the streets of his hometown, Anyang, he was approached by a representative of SM Entertainment with an offer to work for the company. In typical Jin fashion, he never...
So is it just that common to just have somebody walk up to you and just offer you you know, like a record deal or something, or like to come try out for them, and they're from South Korea, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it just common for that to happen? Because it just seems like they're making it seem like they just walked up to him. I know like most of them tried out for these record labels, but like they said, like he just walked up to him and was like, "Hey, I want you to come be a part of SM Entertainment." Like, y'all let me know about that. How does that work?
Offered to work for the company. In typical Jin fashion, he never followed up with them because he believed it to be a scam. Apparently, Jin was a very good-looking guy because years later, this time as a college student in Seoul, he was once again approached on the street. This time by an executive at Big
I swear I just asked that. I promise I did not watch this video, bro.
He didn't sing, he didn't dance. He was at school to become an actor, and he decided to audition to become an actor. Big Hit, however, had different plans for him, and convinced him to become a vocalist for their new group. To do so, he literally learned to dance and sing starting from zero, but thankfully, not without help from other vocalists.
So he taught himself how to sing and dance just to be a part of this group. It just shows how dedicated he is. Most people learn how to sing and dance early in their childhood and things like that. But he just had like, my guy's just so beautiful. He's so beautiful to the point where people just walk up to him on the street and they just toss him record deals. I wish I was as beautiful as him. Give me your skincare. Give me everything, your diet, everything. I need it. Because y'all look perfect. All of y'all look perfect.
Without help from other vocalists.
Oh my goodness.
Jungkook initially had dreams of becoming a badminton player when he was young, but after seeing G-Dragon perform Heartbreaker on television, it influenced him to want to become a singer instead. Because of this, at only age 14, he decided to audition for the South Korean talent show, Superstar K. He didn't pass auditions, but this was just enough to catch the eye of not one company, not two companies, but 7 different companies.
I remember that from the last video.
FNC, Woollim, Starship Entertainment, TS, Cube, and of course,
Big Hit
Entertainment.
Let's go.
So why did Jungkook, given the choice of all these bigger companies, decide to go with the relatively smaller company, Big Hit? The answer was simple. Because he thought, and I quote, RM was cool, so I wanted to sign with them. That brings the number of members to 5.
Wait, let's go back and read what that said on that picture. I kind of missed it. Let's go back to about 6:13.
RM was cool.
I thought RM was cool, so I wanted to sign with them. I told my parents that I wanted to join, and so I signed. I mean, he just got really straight to the point. Didn't really go into too much detail. He supported RM. RM was a leader. He was the first one to put them on, so he just wanted to join because of RM. That's just the effect he has, and the effect that they have as a whole.
That brings the number of members to 5. The next member of BTS was just as surprised to find Big Hit as Big Hit was to find him, and it almost didn't happen.
Is this V?
Kim Tae-young was always passionate about music, and it was always his dream to pursue it as a career. However, it was hard, as his family was poor, his parents being humble farmers. His father told him that if he was passionate about music, he should learn an instrument, and he did, spending 3 years practicing with the saxophone. One day, one of his friends decided to audition for Big Hit Entertainment when they were holding auditions in his hometown of Daegu. Tae-young, being a good friend, came with him to keep him company, but when one of the team
that's crazy. He wasn't even there to trial. His friend was there to trial, and he went just to support him. That just shows how genuine they are. And man, I just the fact that they all come from such like humbling beginnings is it connects with me because I come from like not even like the best, but now I'm here to where I'm at now, where I'm able to react to things like this. I have the equipment, things of that nature to do things like that, and just to see them to come up from nothing, and now they're like one of the biggest groups in the world, it just makes me want to go harder. That's the effect that they've had on me so far.
Auditions in his hometown of Daegu.
I appreciate
Tae-young, being a
BTS,
good friend, came
man.
with him to keep him company. But when one of the team members in charge of the audition saw Tae-young, he encouraged him to audition as well. With nothing to lose, he did. That day, he was the only one in Daegu to move on to the next round of auditions, and eventually became a trainee for Big Hit Entertainment. They decided to keep him as a surprise member and didn't want to reveal him as one of the members.
V is the one that they
In the same vein, Big Hit had him choose something mysterious for his stage name. He decided to go with V for victory. Here seems like a nice round number to stop, right? 6 members for a new hip-hop group.
Nope,
3
we need one more.
and 3
Bring them in, let's go.
It seems like a complete group, but still there was something missing. Some One was missing, someone that could take this already great group of artists and push it even further to achieve perfection. A powerhouse, someone so naturally talented that they could stand out in a room full of already talented artists. This project that Big Hit had embarked upon needed a capstone. Park Jimin was a naturally talented dancer. When he was in middle school, he attended a dance academy and continued to pursue dance at Busan High School of Arts.
I remember him. I remember the same video.
And was the top student in the whole modern dance department. Impressed by his raw talent, a teacher encouraged him to audition for Big Hit Entertainment, who were holding auditions in Busan. He was only 16 when he passed the audition and moved to Seoul to become a trainee. He was the final member of the group, and he also had the shortest training period.
What's interesting to note is that the group feels very much ragtag because in a sense, with the exception of Jimin, it was. RM and J-Hope only auditioned for Big Hit because they didn't pass their auditions with the first company they chose.
Exactly.
And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on to Big Hit after the fact because of their...
See, everything is like, it wasn't just given to them. Like, the first two, as he explained, they didn't make the first company that they, you know, tried out for, but they just kept going. Then they got signed. Then they didn't make auditions, and they got signed as well. It just goes to show, like, don't give up what you're doing. If you're pursuing something and things seem like they're not working out, keep going, keep pushing, because you never know who's watching. That's the biggest thing I gotta say.
The first company they chose. And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on to Big Hit after the fact because of their high quality performances.
Exactly.
They never even planned on auditioning and just decided to do it on a whim. And they literally just found Jin on the streets, but perhaps it was fate.
It's just
because this was the group that they chose.
They were all like hidden gems. Like, these other companies overlooked them. They were hidden gems. V didn't even have to go that day. If he didn't go that day, we probably, like, this group would be just so much different right now. But they all just, like, they just all add on to each other's personality and to the group, to the point so where, like, they found anybody else that was different from them, it would just be like a whole different vibe.
So it was fate, because this was the group that they chose. And just like that, in 2012, the newly created 방탄소년단, the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, or simply BTS, was 7.
Okay.
저도 아침에 리허설 때 이거 보고 많이 웃었습니다.
They had the group, but they still needed the music. In early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today.
In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material, including photos for the first time of all the members in the official
Look at how good those photos look. They are like models too. They're like everything in one, bro. They look so good.
The big day came. June 12, 2013. BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their 2 singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released. The very next day, BTS performed the song again on their official debut stage on Mnet's M Countdown. This was the world's first taste of BTS. Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead single, No More Dream, peaked at 124 in Korea, and the album sold...
Oh, let's just appreciate the style. I love their style. The bandanas, to the black, to the, you know, the exotic earrings, just the way they look. Like, they just look so, like, appealing to the eye. And that's just, like, natural. You can't, like, just put... I couldn't put that on and look as good as them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the album sold only 24,000 copies during its first year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS, but despite everything, people saw them. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9th, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single, No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy, Oh, Are You Late 2. In the music video for the single, they made a commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea, but also quickly fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards.
Hey, that's not bad no matter what place you in. As long as you place, you gotta have a stepping stone. That's what they use that as, a stepping stone, because now they hold like the most number ones in the whole world.
The
album,
album
I'm being
debuted
honest.
at number 4
That's
on the Gaon
facts.
Weekly chart and was the
Statistical.
55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul Music Awards. Part 3 of the School trilogy was released in February of 2014, the EP School Love Affair. This time, the lead single was Boy in Love, and the other single being Just One Day.
Okay.
The album, as well as both singles, enjoyed moderate success, with the album topping the Gaon album chart as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000 in Seoul. BTS was doing
Wow, they held a fan meeting for 3,000 people, and they were all just out and about just like that, just to be there with their fans and connect with them. Like, that's what separates them from other artists. Other artists don't do this. They don't care about their fans, but BTS, they love ARMY.
out of 3,000 in Seoul.
ARMY loves
BTS
them
was
for
doing
sure.
well. That is until July. This is unfortunately a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and
No.
ARMY. That's right, American Hustle Life. I'm joking, of course, but American Hustle Life was a reality show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles, where they had the unique opportunity to learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless. Whatever you do,
Exactly.
just don't watch the Warren G version of Boy in Love. You've been warned. However, cringe and all, the trip proved fruitful for BTS, making connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance at KCON. The next month, in August, BTS released their first full-length studio album, Dark and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger
Oh my gosh,
and
man.
War of Hormones.
I
The
gotta
album
react to their
featured a
music.
marked shift in sound.
I have to. I have to react to their music. It sounds too good. I have to react to it. It's making me mad. I want to get to the music,
and War of Hormones.
but we gotta get to know them more.
The album featured a marked shift in sound with a touch of R&B and electronica. It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October
Okay.
and again in May of the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars, followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert in Korea. Although Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up.
Let's go.
They
Come
got to
on.
work.
What we
April
got?
29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. And just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then, they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You. It was sentimental, it was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful feel. This proved to be the change that BTS needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea.
See, and if they didn't start off with like the funk type deal or the the dark type deal, they wouldn't have known that they needed to switch to that to go mainstream. So they basically like just gambled with everything. They never gave up. They just kept trying new things, and eventually got to a point to where it just shot them to the top. And they still growing to this day.
One of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all. They released their second single, Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS?
Yes.
And you know what? For a lot of people, it was.
Yeah.
In a way, their first studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run. The album focused even more on the frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude that comes with enjoying one's youth, but just like in I Need You, contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled Onstage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU.
The BU.
Which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story.
They even have a mobile game, bro? Oh my gosh.
Which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And I won't go down this rabbit hole because there is a lot to digest, but it's definitely something to look into if you're a hardcore ARMY. The same month, they kicked off their third tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Onstage Tour, where they performed songs from their two recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the Weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts, and on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks, the first K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart, not world albums, which is reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. Which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to Part 3 of
Hard work and determination. That's all it took.
Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart, tracks from their previous 3 EPs. It happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings was big, but the true showstopper was its lead single,
that's crazy.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
수상자는 방탄소년단.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years. And the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon. It won Song of the Year at the 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day,
having longevity like that, that's a blessing. Like, just think about where they come from, and now you got songs from years ago that are still topping on charts. Like, you're not doing anything. The song's just sitting there. Your fans just listening to it. You connecting with people, like they said, generational boundaries everywhere, all across the world. I love it.
The 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States, the first K-pop artist to do so, and went on to win Best Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards.
Let's go!
For a Korean artist, but they would go on to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of massive growth for both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop,
Show me the moves, boy.
Fake Love, Euphoria, Idol,
Look at the suit though. The drip is crazy. How
All
can you
three
hate them?
albums were commercial successes, Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales. But Tear and Answer also did equally well. These 3 albums, as well as their Japanese album Face Yourself, proved that they weren't done yet, not even close. During this time, they shattered countless records. Their singles went platinum, they topped charts, they won awards. And not only did they break YouTube records, but they broke records that they themselves set again and again and again. This is the period where BTS really started.
When you breaking your own records, nobody can mess with you. They just in their own boat right now. Everybody else can't do nothing with them. I'm sorry.
Enjoying global recognition, working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki. It wasn't their first time having international features on their songs, but it was definitely the biggest. And even though they were already, without a doubt, the biggest act to ever come out of South Korea, they had their eyes set even higher. They went on tour once again for the Love Yourself World Tour. During this tour, they collaborated with Steve Aoki to make the song Wasted on Me. Notable for being their first all-English feature, and it also served as a jumping-off point for BTS to gain a following of English speakers. Not that they were Map of the Soul Persona. First things first, you can't mention Map of the Soul Persona without mentioning Boy With Love. It was simple math. What do you get when you cross the singer of one of the best charting songs of all time that went platinum 59 times in 13 different countries with, without a question, the most globally dominant pop group of all time? Well, you get this.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing less than an instant hit. Number 8 on Billboard Hot 100, platinum in the US, 21 music show wins, number 1 on iTunes in 67 different countries, the most liked and the most viewed YouTube video in the first 24 hours.
Let's just appreciate them for a second, okay? We were appreciating them this whole video. Korea's BTS shatters YouTube record for views in 24 hours with Boy With Love featuring Halsey. Okay, shortly after release on April 2nd at 6 p.m., BTS's Map of the Soul Persona topped iTunes album charts in a total of 86 countries, including the US, Canada, Great Britain, Brazil, Singapore, India, Japan, Taiwan, and more. They couldn't even put all of them on here. 86 countries. Countries, not cities, not states, countries. BTS Boy With Love is now the most awarded song in music show history. Let's try to read this in the corner as well. BTS's recent single Boy With Love has only been out for a little under 3 months, but it's already become one of the biggest tunes of the year, at least when it comes to... I can't see that part at the bottom of the screen. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to read it, but I just can't see it. But all the awards, everything came from hard work, staying dedicated. You have to respect them. It's nothing else. Like, it's nothing else you can possibly do. You have to respect them because everything speaks for itself. Their music connects with people on volumes. They continue to shatter their own records, not even other people's records, but their own records that they set for themselves. It's just insane. Insane. Unbelievable.
Video in the first 24 hours, the fastest video to reach 100 million views, a current view count of over 1 billion views, 7 boys, 1 girl, and 7 different hair colors. They were the talk of the town, invited to talk show after talk show after talk show. The second single on the album was Make It Right. Oh, I can make it right. Written by Ed Sheeran himself, including a version featuring Lau. The album debuted at number 1 on Gallup and sold 3.2 million copies its first month, and that's only in Korea. It became the best-selling album in South Korea ever. It swept every major Korean music show, winning Album of the Year in each one of them. They followed up this legendary EP with the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself World Tour, where they sold out both the Rose Bowl and the Wembley Stadium in only an hour, the only non-English speaking act to do so. They even performed as a solo act in Saudi Arabia, the first foreign act to do that. The last stop of their tour was at South Korea's largest venue, the Seoul Olympic Stadium. They ended up grossing $200 million. During this time, they also
BTS were the top grossing touring group of 2019. As if they hadn't already broken enough records in 2019, BTS can now take a bow as the top grossing touring group of 2019 according to Billboard's year and box score
created a
charts.
visual novel style game for mobile devices called BTS World, where the player can interact with the members. This also came with an original soundtrack with tracks unique to the game featuring Western artists. Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and Juice WRLD for the tracks A Brand New Day, Dream Glow, and All Night respectively. In December of 2019, the group swept the grand prizes for both the Melon and Mnet Music Award shows.
BTS sweeps all 4 day sings at Melon Music Awards 2019, total of 8 awards, okay? It was a record-setting night for BTS at the Melon Music Awards. BTS dominate Mama 2019 as K-pop kings win 4 day song including Artist of the Year.
The first artist to do
They are
that.
just...
Map of the Soul persona was legendary, truly a marvel in modern music.
So, how could BTS follow up the best-selling album in South Korean history, you may ask?
Before he even gets into it, if they follow up with something even bigger than this, I might jump out the window and land on my neck.
Easy.
I swear.
Make an even better selling album. And that's what they did with Map of the Soul 7. The album was released on February 21st of 2020, featuring the singles Black Swan and On. And sold over 4.1 million albums in just the first week. And the first Korean album to be...
Put some respect on BTS's name. Map of the Soul 7 sold 4 million certified sales in 1 week. I have nothing else to say.
Certified as quadruple million on the Gaon Music Chart. It debuted at #1 on music charts all over the world, including the US, Korea, the UK, Japan, and much of Europe. It's not an exaggeration to say that this album left a permanent mark on the world, launching BTS into legendary status and becoming the best-selling artist in South Korean history. BTS had scheduled a Map of the Soul tour for April of that year, which would have undoubtedly outsold their record-breaking tour only a year prior. But unfortunately, the COVID pandemic caused the entire tour to be postponed, including the show at the Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't...
So, what I'm seeing from here is that they were supposed to do, a tour for their album. And, COVID stopped everything. Everybody had to stay inside. But from the last video that I watched, I did see that they did online concerts. So I think that's what he's getting to. Like, BTS does whatever they can to give their fans what they want. Supporters, army, us.
The Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't stop BTS, who performed virtual concerts, spoke at the Dear Class of 2020 graduation event, and released the Japanese version of their recent album with an original Japanese single, Stay Gold.
Stay Gold. He even got a golden retriever in the video.
This was only June. At this point, it was clear that BTS had already dominated their home turf, and they had topped the music charts all over the world. This time, their sight was set for the very top. Remember that scene in The Social Network where Mark and Sean talk about how they don't want $1 million, they want $1 billion? How they're not interested in catching 14 trout, but they'd rather catch an 800-pound marlin? Well, that's what they set their sights on. The marlin, the biggest music industry in the world, the United States. And at the top of that music industry, #1 on Billboard Hot 100. This small group from a company that virtually no one had heard about 8 years ago planned to take on Goliath himself and dominate the American industry on their home turf.
Yes.
And all they had to do was speak English. So, August 21st.
Just to do that, to get #1 on the charts in the United States of America, you mean to tell me that they were so determined that... Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
History on their home turf, and all they had to do was speak English. August 21st. Enter Dynamite. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight, so watch me bring their first and only English single so far, simultaneously performed better than anyone had expected, but at the same time is exactly what we as an audience had come to expect from the legendary boy band themselves. And they did it. They reached #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100,
They did
the
it.
Global 200, and the
They
global exclusive
did
US
it.
chart. And they made sure that if you hadn't heard of them before, you definitely have now. And if that wasn't already the biggest flex, on October 2nd, they came out with Savage Love BTS Remix with Jason Derulo, getting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 again, less than 2 months after already getting a #1 with Dynamite.
Goodness.
And on the Global 200, where they actually replaced themselves at #1, the first artist to do so ever. So what makes BTS so special? How did they achieve all this? K-pop is a genre that spans for at least 30 years, and there have been hundreds of boy groups and hundreds of girl groups. What did BTS do to rise above all of them and break through to markets never before seen?
Historically, the boy band industry has been dominated by white English-speaking bands. And the fact that BTS has not only held their own, but blew any sign of competition out of the water on a global scale can be attributed to nothing less than their talent, hard work, and a bit of a 1 in a million miracle. They did it through their own blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak.
Yes.
Around the world, we see that boy bands have pretty much fallen into obscurity, but BTS is thriving. And though I've stated this all before, it's worth saying again, in contrast to other bands who would sing about romantic relationships with girls and what some would call predictable bubblegum pop tunes,
BTS connected on a more personal level than just talking about other things. They were talking about people that were going through depression, anxiety, everything. That's what separates them apart, including the work ethic and everything too. The work ethic speaks for itself, but everything else also falls into place. You can't do nothing but appreciate pure talent. You can't.
Predictable bubblegum pop tunes, BTS is continuously pushing the envelope and changing their styles. According to an article by Vulture.com, they describe this style as much less a successor of the Backstreet Boys and more of the successors of Michael Jackson, whose choreography and charisma
I can see
were
it. I
unprecedented.
definitely see
While,
it.
of course, there's a lot of love for the angelic vocals of BTS, rap has also played a very important part in creating their own style. In stark contrast to the typical boy band where every member sings, it's so refreshing when you're in the middle of a song and you hear RM's raw rapping skills, J-Hope's energy, or Suga's soul put into every single line. Interestingly enough, at the first glance, it seems that the success of BTS was miraculous, despite not being part of the Big Three. But it can also be argued that their success was because of their separation from the Big Three. Their label, Big Hit Entertainment, whose founder emphasizes artistic freedom more than anything else, allowed them to make their own sound. And going back to BTS universe, it's not often that a K-pop group does something special with each of their songs and albums, utilizing strong storytelling that can go beyond simply the song itself, but rather interconnected with other songs and even other albums to create one large overarching story. And not only do they all have their own expertise in performance, but also each of them have had the experience of writing and producing their own music, and they're not afraid to let their style evolve over time. BTS during their debut is such a far cry from Wings era BTS and current day BTS. They also chose to tackle more adult issues instead of simply love and girls. While they definitely didn't have a shortage of those, they also cover other very important issues.
Thank you BTS for doing that, for not talking about girls and things of that nature, love and all this other stuff. Thank you for talking about personal issues and worldwide topics that everybody is going through. Meaningful talent, that's what separates you from everybody else. Let's go.
Such as mental health, regret, following your dreams, hard work, self-love, and many
Thank you.
others.
We need
Add
it.
that to the fact that as fans, we can feel the authenticity of the members themselves. They seem approachable. BTS seems like there's a place for every type of fan. And in this fast-paced world where things change at unthinkable speeds, BTS has stayed grounded and faithful to who they were and who they are. Those kids we saw on American Hustle Life, along with their dreams and passions, are the same men who stand before us today. And while some artists like to keep their personal lives private, BTS gives us a look at their personal lives through their vlogs, which allow us to become more connected to them than ever before.
What is truly amazing is that, with the exception of just one single, they're doing this all while singing in their native tongue, Korean. Their music holds so much power that it literally breaks through the barriers of language.
Yes.
And no, they're not done yet. Today, November 20th, they're releasing their 5th studio album, B. Their singles on the album, Dynamite and Life Goes On. And chances are, life will go on for BTS. And chances are they'll continue to break even more records. They've shown that they're capable of dominating music charts across the world and even reaching across the Pacific Ocean and conquering the music industry in the United States. What's next for them? Mars? In any case,
Yes.
they've only started in 2013 and BTS is as strong as it's ever been. As far as we know, they will only continue to light it up like a dynamite.
Let's just take a moment to appreciate everything BTS has done, from the awards, from being able to, spread not just in Korea, but all across the globe. The only other place that they can spread now is probably to like Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, somewhere like that, where aliens will start listening to their music and now aliens will be influenced by BTS. There are 3 guaranteed things in life: taxes, death, and BTS putting out great music and continuing to grow every day. If y'all are new to the channel, y'all enjoyed this reaction, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Also, if you have any suggestions from BTS, please leave them in the comment section because I'm open to react to them. I'm new to the scene. Thank you guys for allowing me to do this reaction. Stacks is out. Peace.